Cool, now you did it. You are now listening to Viking Web Productions podcast. Don't look at me, you did this to yourself. Now, let's sit back and listen to Eric with his dribble this time.
Today we're going to talk about phone repair. No, it's been a minute since I actually talked about that besides the right to repair. Today, I actually had a couple to do. One was an iPhone 5 and one was a Galaxy Note 9. Of course, start a podcast and you get a frog in your throat. So the iPhone 5 one was kind of a pain in the ass. Let's see, today's Friday, so the day I was in the hospital, this gentleman was going down to the ferry to go to Seattle for whatever reason, and taking the phone out of his pocket, and sure enough, it decided to fly. Landed on a corner, shattered the screen. He couldn't get it to respond to touch. Home button worked. He had quite a few text messages sitting there waiting for him when I saw it, but he was telling me that he was able to get the phone to work in a couple ways if he was twisting it. Well, good thing your iPhone doesn't like to be twisted. And sure enough, I put a new screen on it, and no touch. Home button worked, so there's a few components that needed to be swapped out. And since it's an iPhone 5S, it's cheaper just to get a new phone and to be able to swap data. And the guy was kind of devastated. He knew he screwed up, but it happens. You get it to work, and you just want it to work, and you'll do whatever. And then, so there's a website out there. If you have an iPhone 5 and it's broken, but you still want the files and your data off of it, there's a site called Swappa where you can actually get an iPhone 5. The one I was looking at was for AT&T, and it was $40. You have to have a PayPal account, and everybody's verified. Thing is, I haven't had a bad complaint. You can determine what condition you want the phone in. With iPhone 5s, it's fair or good. Just know that you'll probably have to get the battery replaced, or it's not going to last you forever. But you can also get newer ones, and they're fairly good priced. And I mean, it's better than eBay. It's better than meeting somebody off of Facebook, and it gets shipped right to you. Galaxy Note It was just the back cover. Just dropped it. Never got it replaced. But with the back cover, the adhesive was being troublesome, and I had to do some creative tape work to be able to get my suction cup in there so I could get the damn thing off. Then my little pick decided to break off a piece and send it straight into my finger, right through my glove. So I had a big chunk of glass sticking out of my finger, and of course it's the hand where my heart cath went in, so my hand's already hurting, and now I have a piece of glass that's almost underneath my fingernail. It went underneath my fingernail. I think I would have thrown the damn phone. That sucked. So I had to use my tweezers to pull the piece of glass out because I couldn't get my fat fingers around it. Take my glove off, bleeding like a stuffed pig. And then finally got the rest of the cover off. Put the new one on, gave it to the customer. Yeah. Basically, today's story is Swappa, and it's a good site. It has all the carriers, so you can select whatever phone that you want. And good thing too is about data recovery on iPhones. Even if your phone doesn't have touch, we can make it work. So I told them to go home, try to back up the phone, since my computer wanted to get it trusted. It wouldn't work, of course, because there's no touch. I wasn't about to rip apart his phone when he wasn't too worried, but at least he can go home and back it up, and he should be all right. And then gets a new one. We can go through the steps of getting it back on there. One thing is he's thinking about switching to Android, which is doable. There's ways of swapping it over so you can actually get your data, or some of your data. You get your contacts and some of the text messages, but you're not going to get everything. Apps are stored wherever, so you can just re-download them, sign back in, and you'll be good to go. But it's also important to make sure that your phone's backed up. You don't have to do it every single day, maybe once a week. Just make sure you have a fresh backup just in case something like that happens, because every now and then everybody's phone wants to learn how to fly. And especially when you're in a rush, trying to beat the ferry, because God forbid the ferry be on time. That parking lot is unforgiving. Oh, and always have a case, because it's gonna help soften the blow. The note didn't have a case, and she was telling me that she had just got it and dropped it 2 days after she got it and broke the back cover. And she walked around for months, and then she just finally decided to get it fixed. But that's what I do. I fix everything. You got an iPhone, doesn't matter how old it is, I'll try to fix it. You want to get a new one and you just want to swap data and you don't know how to do it, I'll help you out with that. Got a little cosmetic blemish like a back cover on your note, I'll do that. computer acting up or running slow, I'll take care of that as well. So I guess we will leave that podcast at where it's at, and we will continue on.
Well, this episode is over. Finally, Viking Web Productions podcast is brought to you by by Robot Overlords. Please subscribe, like, and share this podcast, even with your grandmother. She doesn't hear from you any other time, so surprise her with this gift. That will get you a brownie point. Tee-hee. Until next time, this is Emma. One day I will be like Pennywise, like Mother always wanted.